tagging some people. And listening to the beautiful music of Mr. Lamont. Enjoy, enjoy. I can get him to play. My. So, a bit of a warfare there. Yeah. Enjoy. Oh yeah. My. Keep a playing. Yes, keep it playing. Oh yeah. All right. That's good stuff. What happened there? No. Keep playing. Just a little more. I've got Mr. Lamont playing. But I'm wrapped up real cozy. Did have a fire going back there, but it went out. That's Mr. Richard Lamont playing his anointed keys. Sometimes I gotta crack out the whip. Crack out the whip. Thank you so much, sweetie. Good evening, everyone. This is NightCap at 9. Welcome. Grab you some cocoa, some tea, a cup of coffee, whatever it takes, or, a glass of wine. But relax. I'm Lorraine Lamont, and I got this nice cozy coat on. It's not that cold here. I'm gonna take it off. But it's been cold here in Texas. I think we've been getting some of that northerners weather. Y'all can keep that. We don't want it. I know I don't want it. So, but let me see if I have this on right. There you go. Yeah, some of that northern weather. But that's okay. It lasts for about, what do we got, Rich? About 4 days of this? 3 days? 2 days?
At least 3 more days.
3 more days? That's a long time.
I know.
You better be cracking that wood and having things ready, Mr. Lamont.
Yes, ma'am.
She's so pizza.
Yes, ma'am.
Girl, don't start me to talking. Well, anyway, this is not... He's got me going. This is NightCap at 9. Let me just tell you first, I've told you my name. Let me just give you a little background as to a little purpose of this was that more than that, 2006. Yeah, some time ago, 3 years ago, maybe, at least 2 or 3 years ago. I started this whole thing because at 9 o'clock at night, I kind of feel that people are kind of settled. And so about 2 or 3 years ago, the whole world being in disarray and fighting like it is, with one another. It was even, COVID had just hit too. Boom. All the political things, all the stuff and the division. So I thought I would do this thing at night and I would get to come home after, my program and my nonprofit, and then I would put on Facebook, and then I would go and, Facebook Live, and I would try to talk about things that could kind of make us all come together. That's kind of one thing. And we had a lot of topics, some heated topics, but things was pretty much okay. A few little uprisings here and there, but my whole goal at that time was to have Americans to become one, to think about that we really are one human being. Yes. And then and in light of scripture, of course, and in light of me being a Christian, and of course I do this precursor at the beginning, I am not a religious person. I love the Lord. I'm a Christian. I go to church. Yep, I do all those things. Wonderful. Baptized in the Holy Spirit. All got it. But I am not a religious person, because religious people, they kind of get on Miss Lorraine's nerve. They really do. They don't change anything. They do methods over and over and over again, and that nobody around them really knows anything about the Lord. And I can't do religious people. But so that's how this all got started, me trying to do a little bridging of the gap. And it worked for quite a while. I had a huge following. Man, if I'd have known what I know now, I'd have kept that finger rolling and direct that traffic, as they say. But anyway, I had other things to do. Of course, so I have a radio show. Here's some things you can catch me on. I have a radio show. I have a YouTube channel. I also have radio, YouTube, and then of course, and I'm coming on at NightCap at 9, working on a book. Let me see, I leave out anything. Wesley will post it very soon. My YouTube channel is something to do with Best Speak Her, Her, Best Speak Her. I like that. And you can go there at my YouTube channel. And then also I have my website, LorraineLemon.net. Has most everything on that. And then I'm on at NightCap at 9. What else? My book that I'm working on is called Black by Popular Demand. Oh yeah, the book. Black by Popular Demand. It's kind of controversial. Then again, I am considered a controversial person. So was Jesus. It's just the bottom line. And I have in my repertoire of friends, or associates, everyone from black, pink, polka dot stripe, Republican, gay, straight, Democrat, Baptist, Protestant, Pentecost. Yes, I do. And as a matter of fact, I'm reminded that Jesus did too. Yeah, he did. And so that's how we are able to reach people of all walks of life, by being what God has actually structured me to be. Let me give you the premise that I live and die by, because this helps you understand the lens that I'm looking through. I believe that God, who is omnipotent, omnipowerful, omnipresence, omnipotent, omniscience, yes, which means he's all-knowing, all-powerful, can do all, and also is at the end and the beginning of history at the same time, sees every day coming. And by him seeing every day coming, nothing catches him by surprise. No. So that tells me that the Father has set us up for this day. So wait a minute, let me get this straight. So God, you long saw the day that the crazies would be happening in the 21st century. People would be killing people, robbing, raping, and doing these things. You saw this. Let me get this straight. You saw parents and kids murdering, all the strife, the racism at the top of the list. You saw this. Let me get this straight. And you allowed it to still happen to the degree it's happening right now. I live by that, so that when the enemy comes in, and he is coming every day, you will realize that the Father who sits high, looks low, has already given you a meal to match that journey. And the main course on that plate is grace. The second main course on that is a mercy. Oh yes. And the third one is peace. Because great peace have they that love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. So if you hear me twining scriptures in and out, it's not because I'm trying to make you come to my church, dance my dance, sing my song. Nope. I just happen to be a Christian, and I like to do it as a form of lifestyle. Yeah, not methods, not Sunday only, not Wednesday Bible study, but everyday life. So the topics I started, it was the day after Christmas when I started back this NightCap at 9. When I started this, it was topics exploded. Like I started off one with why are people married, choose to get married, and choose not to get married, but live together more than they used to, getting the original, weddings and marriage. And I just put it out there on Friday, like I do a lot of things, and then I let it roll around. Friday night, roll around. or I put it out there even on Thursday sometimes, and then it starts building up and building up. The momentum, people are going at it a little bit. I let them get all of that out, and then I come back on that Monday, and then I start piecing it out, reading what people have said, and then kind of piecing that out. The topics have included not only the marriage thing about people that choose to live together, shack together. A new term, by the way, is domestic partnership. What is that, Lorraine? Domestic partnership. I pay my bills, he pay his bills. We live in the same house. I go and come, but we live like man and wife to some degree, but we are free. So, another one of my topics, and that topic boiled down, by the way, the summation was that people didn't want to make the commitment. People didn't want to do it the God's way, because with the God's way comes God's accountability and responsibility. And don't want it. So that's kind of what it was. And convenience sake. And another one of my topics was about liberals, my friend, which I have bunches of liberal friends. You know, they love people of color. They love people that are struggling, and the low income and lower class. They love them. They want to do something. They do good things, and they do. They have good hearts for doing good things. It's the outcomes that has always been an issue. For instance, you know, programs that feed us, and they'll say, you know, I'll tell you this. Here's in a nutshell. People of color or people of low income, they really can't keep a job. They really can't. They can't keep a job. Okay, I got that. Hi, Cherie. See you on, girlfriend. So they can't keep a job. They can't finish school. They can't take care of their own kids. Okay. And if they do, they're going to need a lot of help and welfare systems. Or if they go to college, if they dang on make it to college, oh my, they can't really get in college and they can't stay there. So we need to make adjustments there. And it just goes on and on and on. Howdy, Cherie. Yeah. And it just goes on. The thing with that is those kinds of programs eventually cripple us. And when they cripple us, the thing about my well-meaning liberal friends is that they made these programs that cripple us, and at the same time, when they realize they don't work, they're working on another program for the crutches. So we end up hobbling through life. And so this is not to be offensive toward anything, anyone. I'm sorry. I know the word of God speaks about it, you know, great peace have they that love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. You know, I mean, and then if you want to be offended, you will be offended. It's not my purpose. It's not my intent. That's where I'm going. So that was one of the topics. And then right after that, shortly, it was a couple others, but shortly after that, the indoctrination versus education, you know, what's happening with the sex, gender, and why America is so sex crazed. Oh my God, we're so hot. No, we're not. No, we're not so hot. Not at all. Not at all. That it's all a part of a whole socialization of America. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I took it all the way back to the history when the whole John Money and Alfred Kinsey introduced sex education into the public schools because they felt that was the only way they could get it in by putting it as a part of the curriculum. And it's a control. It's all about control. And I talked about the whole gender dysphoria. We talked about that. And then we moved up to the Martin Luther King week. Oh, yeah. You know, and how, you know, Martin Luther King week and Black History Month is going smaller. And why? Why are people like Frederick Douglass, Thurgood Marshall, which some of you guys, I can look at by your ages, you've never even heard of. You know, why come Thurgood Marshall, Frederick Douglass, you know, George Washington Carver? We don't hear any more about those people. Why? Because they no longer fit the narrative. They believe in meritocracy, which means earning it, regardless of what you're going against, but earning it. And they believed in equality, not equity. Equality means equal access. I may have to fight like hell to get there, but I'm going to have I'm going to get in there. Equal access, and I'm going to keep going till I get in there. The liberal agenda basically believes in equity. Equity means equal outcomes. And you guys, if you have any kids, you know that doesn't work well. If you work with any kind of students, if you work on a job, you give everybody an equal thing, what you give them. And then one takes it and goes off and spends crazy. One invests and does something. And the one that does crazy comes back and says, hey, I want to be like him. You know, so it can't happen. And so Martin Luther King and people like that, if I'm talking too fast, let me take a sip of wine so I can slow down. Martin Luther King and people during that time, as well as even now, they believed in the opposite. So they did not fit the narrative. And the narrative today, with the race being at the top of the list, you understand, and you guys, well, everybody's a racist. I'm a racist. You're a racist. You can be black as night. Doesn't matter. If you don't agree with the culture, with the current culture of today, you are racist. People almost rather be called an adulterer. They almost be ready to be called a murderer or anything rather than to be called a racist. Oh, Lord. So, and then you call the racist and call the racist and call the racist until you control. Remember the word control. It keeps coming up. Why? The vitamin C's, control, continues, as well as the vitamin D's, deceive, divide, continue to delude, deception, all of that continues to ultimately to destroy. So thank you, Wesley. He's putting all my links there for you. You can check them out. Let's get on with the topics of the day. Today on the radio show, and again, on my Hill Country Patriot Radio, that link there, you click there. All my shows are podcasted up to 2 weeks, and then they drop off and you get new ones, okay, as they go along. So you can get a chance to hear the reason why I choose to discuss what I've talked on the radio that day, talk about it at NightCap at 9, is because a whole nother character comes out on that radio. No offense. It's just, it is. When they originally asked me to do a radio show, I went, I got no time to do no radio show. Gee, so Pete, my husband's band, I'm in the band. He said I stole his band, and I kind of did. So, we doing music, playing here and there. And then I have a nonprofit I've had for 20 years coming up on this anniversary, Cherie. We should do something about that. This really is a big 20. We started March 2003. Yes, I did. Don't mention Art to Heart, Wesley. You don't have to put the link on it. But anyway, because I try to keep it separate. And my reason for keeping it separate, because I don't want nobody saying I'm teaching their kids no politics or religion. No, I'm not. But anyway, so I couldn't do a radio show, I thought, but then my husband said, no, babe, I think you can. You so radio, you don't know it. I accepted based on these criteria. I says, well, guys, I need to ask you. I know y'all Republican and conservative, but I believe there's crooks on both sides, and I need to be an equal opportunity hater. And they said the magic word, whatever's in the mind of Lorraine Lamont. Booyah! And so thus the radio show has been 3 years. So let's go on to the topic of the day. I'm just going to get right into, guys, the whole thing with the Tyree situation and I just, in the past 48 hours, I haven't watched any of the video. They throw it in my face every now and then. I cut it right off. I've just been able to address this. I threw it out there last week or so, the shame. Where the Jesse Jacksons and the Earl Sharpton. I think I had one response and it was kind of lame, so I'm not even going to mention it. I was able to say a little bit about it because I'm a mother. We've been from the N word to the Negro word to the colored word to African American to black, and so of course I refuse to be called an African American. I'm an American, but I'm a mother, that's for sure. And we all come in all boom. Mom's come in all colors: striped, pink, polka dot, yellow, brown, blue, pink, whatever. And so I just can't imagine. I can't imagine this mother closing her eyes at night. And those images of her son. I can't imagine. I can't talk much about it because I still can't handle it much. I really can't. You would think of all the robbing, the raping, the killings, the murders, that this would be nothing. I could handle that. Nah. Every time something like that happens to anybody, I wouldn't care if they had polka dots for race. I still feel the same way. So I'm choosing to get into this topic because when I posted, I said, shame on you. I think I did a YouTube short, thanks to Cherie, my assistant, and the YouTube short says, where are all the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons now, blah, blah, blah. Shame on you. Is it because it was black police officers and a black victim? Is that why? Is that what the deal is? One lady news commentator, Jesus of Nazareth. I could slap her like a silly white girl in an old Hollywood movie. Those are the things I say on the radio, so don't be offended. They ask us, do you think that race will play us any significant points in involvement in this since they both were black? And this woman, she went, oh, well, we don't know. We got to say only what we know. You know, the media, first of all, Fox News, all the rest of them. Yeah. You know, I'm not one of those Fox Newsers. I'm not an MSNBC. No. I give myself an equivalent of about 5 to 6 hours a month. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5, maybe not even that much. No, because it's just, you know, what do we know? Me and my husband got a little bet thing going that the young boy that that shot the teacher in Virginia, wherever it was, shot this teacher, was it Virginia, wherever, but said, well, yeah, the little 6-year-old that shot this teacher, is more than likely black. I bet you. Why, Lorraine? Because you don't hear nothing about it. And all my white brothers and sisters are afraid to say anything. I got that. I got that. Oh, Wesley, you watch the footage. Guess what, Wesley? God help you and keep you. You see, the eyes are the windows of the soul. The strangest thing about our soul is that it takes pictures. It does. And it goes in. And just when you're thinking about something else wonderful, it comes back. And for me, some people are stronger. I can't. I really can't. So anyway, so I chose to talk about this subject. So here today on the radio show, I brought up some interesting points. Because I didn't mention the name of my book, which I said, Black by Popular Demand, the book. It has turned out to be a 5-point series because it's just too much. So I'm going to make them quick, easy reads of about 5 of them. And the first one is Pimps, Politicians, and Crooked Preachers. Again, pimps, politicians, and crooked preachers. We have them all on both sides, Democrat, gay, strays, in between. We have them in every denomination. Yes, we do. And pimps. And pimps are those organizations that use race as a pork barrel. I mean, to gather in gods of money, and black people never see it. They do. Look at our inner cities. I mean, please, if we count it up, the money that has been spent toward low-income housing and so forth and inner cities issues, we could probably feed 2 nations. Yeah, 2 nations and keep them going. 2 small nations. We could do it. So that first book will be called Pimps, Politicians, and Crooked Preachers, and I will break it down in the area of who's the pimps, who's the politicians, who's the crooked preachers, and organizations like from Black Lives Matter being pimping us and so forth and so on, you know, and we got huge, okay, Lorraine said, from NAACP and other things like that, yes, they do. Yeah. And then we have politicians, you know, Democrats and Republicans on both sides, you know, doing... they all become panderers, and how we as an American people, human beings with the brain, while you still got it, need to use it and seek the Spirit of God as to what to do. Because remember, the DS factor, I mentioned that earlier, is a divine setup. That means that God, who sits high, looks low, could have put you in any time in history, but he decided to put you here. He could have put you in 1782 in Spain. He could have put you in 1655 where? Whatever. He put you here. Why? For such a time as this. Oh, dang. What time is it? It's your time, America. Mr. and Mrs. America. So, anyway, so I'm talking on this topic of the Tyree issue, the whole thing. Oh, they're policemen. They're horrible. Yeah. But you know, evil is not racist. Ooh, baby. Evil, which is, and I'm an acronym queen. You take evil, and I think you can make the word live out of it. It has everything to do with death, the opposite of living. Evil is not racist. Evil don't care what your color, your mama, your daddy, what gender you are, the whole thing. No. And so, what I see when I look at these officers, first of all, they had a team that had squadron. Anybody remember, if you're from Detroit, What was the name of that police squadron that they put together to fight crime? And they had their own, was it Strike or Stripe or Strand? What was the name of that? Come on, some of you are from Detroit. What was that? Hey, Ricardo, do you remember the name? Huh? Stress. That was it. Operation Stress. Woo! But it stood for something. Doggone it, we got to get that all of acronyms. It was called Stress. The Stress, and they were hoarding up black people, catching them on the corner, beating them, putting them, locking them, everything. Oh yeah, this like they had a whole special badge, a badge to be cruel, a badge to do beyond the call of duty. Yeah. If you know anything about it, look it up, guys. Wesley, you can look that up. Maybe you and Cherie. Stress, Operation Stress. Woo, yes. And so these officers were called an operation similar. They were called the Scorpions. It's been dismantled, of course. And they were given, special privileges within means to be able to curb the crime and so forth. Yeah, absolutely. Now I guarantee you, if you get the data on that, it more than likely would say that when it was actually contrived or created, it was locally for the inner city areas. They may have even mentioned black, but I know it's for the inner city areas. So I think they were given these special privileges and rights, not to do what they did then, but nonetheless, I imagine they bent and stretched it quite a bit. So when this beating and all of this took place for this young man, I always say, ask the right questions. America, we have to start asking the right questions. Why? Who? When? Where? What? How? We must. If you don't, the crooked pimps, politicians, and preachers will continue to shove down your throat what they think you need to know. So what, so I start looking and trying to get a lens on what, why, how, the horror there. And as I begin to dig deeper, I was reminded of something that I heard long ago, and I think it was Thomas Sowell that mentioned this, that black culture is truly killing black people. Let that soak for a minute. That black culture is really killing black people. The look, the lifestyle, the hood, all the things that go along with that, representing. And then I think of something else that I've learned long ago, that no other race at the rate of African American race, black race, kills itself on a constant basis. No. And I thought, well, yeah, it is. One other race. Wait a minute. Africans. Yeah. Africans. Tribalism. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. And it's almost as if a form of tribalism is taking place amongst black people in all of the, whatever major cities they're in. Yeah. Representing what? It cracks me up when I say, because it is culture. A lot of it is culture. When I look at people in Asia sagging with the pants and people and whatever, it's not about this. So what is it? It's about a culture. And black culture really is destroying black people. And in one of my books is going to be titled, I think that's the third one, Who's Really Killing Black People? And black people and culture and tribalism have a lot to do with it. Case in point, I'm at a very beautiful dinner affair, sort of small, at someone with a little bit of prominence. And they were so glad to invite me because they had invited someone from Africa. He was in the medical school. It was at the end of medical school. Had been practicing and doing some things. And my friend, of course, white, who says, I have black friends, or I have white friends. Well, we should. On both, we should. Black should have white friends. Get over it. So she invites me. She wants him to meet me. And I am excited. And we're sitting at the table. And I noticed that, of course, that there was this push, there was this extension of arm that he had toward me. Now, know this. It wasn't just this particular dinner. It's been that way. I've been knowing that for a while. When Africans come here, they have no acknowledgement. They don't want to have anything to do with African Americans. Did you know that white people, pink people, polka dot, striped people, and brown people, yellow people? I want you to know that. It's the truth. They have nothing to do with black African Americans here. And I've known this for some time, being in the mission field and coming in various areas, and I always would notice this dissonance. Yes. So after maybe a couple of glasses of wine or whatever, and dinner and dessert, and she goes to the kitchen to clear out the dishes, I decided to ask him, just kind of, I said, can you tell me something? Is it just me? Why is it that I feel that, that when people from Africa come here, they seem to treat us like a standoff, like a distance? As he finishing up his dessert or whatever, he dabs his mouth. He doesn't look at me right away. And he takes a sigh and he says, well, it may be because we feel, first of all, we feel very proud of you that you've been able to come to a land that is not your own and to survive and to be taken from where you were taken and still to survive. He said, but then you're kind of disappointing. And I'm getting ready to protect myself. Oh, yeah, shut up, Lorraine. Hear what the man has to say. He says, well, we're kind of disappointed because with all the freedom and things that you have in America, you've done nothing. You've done nothing. You're so concerned about integration, you never use the strongest tool you have in America, the freedom of assimilation. Wow. Let that soak in for just a little bit. Yes, he did too. He says, and you have taken on the victimhood, which then I didn't know what it was, but now the hell I know now, of what someone owes you when you're living in one of the most freest countries in the entire world. And that's disappointing. So we choose not to live amongst you, and they don't. You find me a Nigerian living in a hood. That's in college, going to school. Come over here. You find one. Let me know. Because black culture, the culture that we developed amongst African American is what is killing black people. It is what is stringing them and noosing them up. Cheese in the trap, programs, welfare. You need the government. You need Big Brother. You need. And everybody, damn it, everybody owes me. Because what had happened? Right. You want to blame somebody, black people? Let's start in Africa. And if I really, at that dinner table, as I think about it, I probably would have maybe did a little flip on him and says, well, we didn't get here by ourselves. Y'all sold us. But I'm glad I didn't think like that at that time. I needed to take that in with a grain of salt, whip it up in my soul, and let the Holy Spirit minister to me the truth out of it, that it was a lot of truth involved in that. Tribalism and culture. And tribalism is the other one. Now, so tribalism in African countries, that was the other thing he said. He says, and besides, when we look at you, we don't know what tribe you come from. I forgot about that. And we view everything through the lens of tribes. I want to say, well, brother, man, that ain't my fault. Killer. And that's when I should have flipped at that time and said, and by the way, Like no policeman come up in the inner city and just totally run ramshot without everybody knowing he coming with all kind of catcalls and signals and whatever signal, ding ding ding, po po in the hood. No white person came up in Africa with them big ships, boarded that land, and y'all didn't see them coming. Oh, you know why? Because black people sold black people, and here's a full cycle today. Soak that in for a minute. So, I can take the rest of my life and blame and point and blame and point and blame and point. And I could really be rightfully true in who I'm pointing to. But I am not responsible for what they did. But I am responsible for what I do with it. I am. And in the preface of my book, oh, God, help me, pray for me, guys, that I get it done. I open up, and I'll probably open up all these books with this one saying, which will say, basically, is that, please let me, my foreword or my preface is saying, please let me not be remiss and you mistaken, have you mistaken in thinking that racism and the horrible acts that took place on people of color of all and everywhere, that they were not horrifying. Please do not I don't want you at one point to think that I am just throwing it out. No, it's horrifying. But that is a ship that has sailed. And I'm not on it. And I refuse to ever board it again. So, really quick, let's hold on to what little bit I'm trying to get out. What am I saying? This Tyree summary, Tyree, the horrifying act, horrifying. I have not watched the video. I'm not going to watch the whole video. Pieces are thrown in my face every time I'm looking at something. I'll say throw. I try to cut it off. Okay. I can't imagine how his mother goes to bed at night. You know, the visions and the images and so forth and so on. I can't imagine. And then on top of that, I think about the policemen, the whole thing, the racism act, and of how people are not looking at it. They are not la because it's black on black. You ain't hearing crap-a-looyah from a lot of these Black Lives Matter. Of course, Black Lives Matter ain't got nothing to say to anybody right now because she's too busy enjoying her 3 beautiful homes, millions and $1 million homes. She's too busy enjoying them right now. It would be best for Patrice not to say crap. I got that. I wouldn't either if I were you, Patrice, and thank God I'm not you. So the act was atrocious. It's been really kept really on the down low. I know there's been a little bit of protesting going on. But nothing you compare. I would like to put on one side of a page the protest of George Floyd, the criminal. He's a human being. I got you. They shouldn't have hurt him. I got you. I'm with you. Horror is horror. A criminal, a white beater, a woman beater, all these things, thief, blah, 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 is killed by a police officer, foot on neck, horrible, yes. They tear up the damn cities. Don't talk to Miss Lorraine. They tear businesses. They form Black Lives Matter. They have a no-go zone because of that in some areas of major cities. They praise and award him. They were even thinking of making a George Floyd holiday. I just, and this young man, Tyree Black, yay, what? is unmercifully beaten. And we're just beginning to get protesters and coming together. Shame on you, I said it. That's what I said. Shame on you. That's right. And liberals and my white friends and others that are not black, they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. I know you don't. I know my Latina, my Hispanic brethren, I understand. You don't know what to say. And besides, if you do say anything, you could be called a racist. Listen, guys, don't worry about it. I've been called a racist. And if I've been called a racist, it's kind of like, dude, right. So in a recap with this, why? Asking the right questions. How did it get like this? Where did it come from? Who is it focused on? These are our questions, Americans. These are our questions. How? The Scorpion, this group of black police officers, was giving this authority, this magic wand to do the hell what they wanted to do. With some discretion. This ain't the first one. This is just the one that got caught. Do you get me? This is the one that got caught. They were even allowed not to be body cammed. That camera didn't come from one of them. Came from somewhere out or whatever. How? Given that right and given that total carte blanche. The why? The who? Oh, well, he was just a criminal, or he did some bad things. You know what, guys? I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I'm prophetic. I speak in tongues. I go to church. All those things. But I really believe it was almost as if they felt they were like a God themselves to do that. For all of them to stand there and watch, and no one, if one would have said something, it would have started maybe peeling that apple differently. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't some sort of initiation. That we all see this and nobody can say nothing. Now nobody can say nothing. You can never do anything. Anything I do now, I'll bring this back up. I could be wrong. But evil, in its acronym, EVIL. LIVE backwards is live. Evil is always against life. Evil is always against those things. I look at evil, I love to make acronyms up and look at the word of things, how. So the Y would be against life. Against life in every form. Here is these 5 black officers, I guarantee you, have gone through some similar, not maybe to that degree, issues as a young black man growing up themselves. What blinded them in that moment that they could not see and could not remember, that they were once that young man themselves. Evil has no race. Evil has no sex or gender. Evil is against life. Period. For its own satisfaction and gain. So the day on the radio show, I talked about that. When I put that down there, when I started talking, guys, we can be all, everybody upset. Oh my God, what horrible things they did. Yeah, it was horrible, horrifying. I did Tyree, his mom. I tell you, beyond him, I'm a mother. I just can't even get the words in my mouth. And I'm never lost for words of her feelings. How she goes to sleep at night. How she fixes cornbread. Simple thing is cornbread. He liked cornbread. He liked what? How? Those things go inside of me. And every day I see them. So when I posted that YouTube short and says, shame on you, the shame on you was to every facet of the community that said nothing, Black, pink, polka dot, stripe, or blue. Any of you, brown and yellow. Don't want to leave anybody out. Shame on you. How we tore up the streets with George Floyd. Jesus, of no-go zones for police officers. Defund the police. Unbelievable. Tore people businesses. Unbelievable. You know, what is it? No, just go in, catch and release. Look what that has got us. Look at Seattle and Oregon. Oh, Jesus, please. And this young man, not sure what his record or criminal was or not, was mercifully unbeaten. The other, George Floyd, the police officer had his knee on the neck. Yep. It should be a limit in the time of that. Yep. It's part of a takedown procedure. Yes. It's very brutal. Yes. Yes. He did it in camera in front of everybody. Yes. Show one trying to hide it. Yes. Like what happened here. And we're just beginning to protest. We're finally going to make sure and the beauty of this is that right away they were fired, not suspended, right away fired. Yeah. I don't even know if they got paid, but they're out of here. Fired and charged. As opposed to, let's see now, like that news reporter, she wasn't a news reporter, she was just a guest on one of the shows. Well, we don't know. We've got to know what know what? What is it there to know? You see it with your own eyes. He black, they black, he died. What? Please. So evil is the word live backwards, because evil is always against life. Man's inhumaneness to man is just beyond comprehension. In the city, in the state of where a very powerful man once said, let us all come together, treat and love one another. That black man, Martin Luther King, is rolling in his grave. He must be. So, the who, we saw the who, very clear. What, we saw what was done. The how, we sure saw how. Why is when you deal to the root. The word of God speaks to lay the axe to the root. Because if you don't lay the axe to the root, it's still going to keep coming up shoots in your fruits. It's like taking a dandelion, plucking it and saying, oh, there's a weed. And then you pluck it out from the top, and the next thing you know, oh, there's 5 weeds. And then you come back and then you got a whole damn field of weeds. So the axe must be laid at the root. If not, it keeps shooting up in your fruits. Yes, it does. So the root cause, and I think about this again, let's recap before I close. Let's recap. So I'm saying the root cause, when I look at it, the power that they gave this group of policemen called the Scorpions, it's been disbanded. They weren't the only ones. I think it was others too, but they've been disbanded. It was kind of like, remember in Detroit, Michigan, called Operation Stress? These police officers, they gather up black people, bam, beat them up, put them up in jail. It wasn't even no question. You had to work yourself out of that. Oh, yeah. There was a lot of killings and deaths and horrible things happened then. So these Scorpion, under the name of Scorpion, was given all of this power, whatever, from their precinct or from their commanding chief. And that was the only one that got caught with. I guarantee you, if somebody really want to dig, you really want to dig, find out any black people or people that's been arrested by them and lived with that one eye left or that one leg or whatever. Woo, baby. So, we got the who, we got the what, we got the how, we're digging with the why. And the why, again, I said, is black culture, power, first power given to these people, and then unleashed, harnessed power, unregulated. And you go deep to the axe being laid at the root, tribalism and black culture. Tribalism and black culture. No other race kills itself at the rate that black people do. When I get that other podcast, by the way, guys, if you're chiming in, for the first time right now, I want to just tell you again, if you scroll down, when we close off here, there's my podcast. I have a YouTube channel, a Best Speak Her, HER 2023 on YouTube. I have a website, LorraineLeamoyen.net. I'm on the radio, HillCountryPatriot.com. And I'm working on a book. And then I have my NightCap at 9. Could be hot cocoa, tea, wine, whatever. And I do this. I do it Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. And I'm doing a recap of what I've screamed and hollered at all that day on the radio. And I bring it down to a much lower. If you think this is loud and fast and furious, trust me, the radio program is a real wake the hell up, Martha, because we coming at you. It's a really big one and really fast-paced thing. So, I broke it down. We got the who, got the what, the why. And when we go deeper into the why level, I want to go to and Thomas Sowell, which one of my favorite speakers, authors, professors, everything. He said something long ago, I'll never forget. He said, black culture is what is killing black people. Now, y'all have to hold on to that for a little bit, especially if you're one of my white brothers and sisters or my Latino brothers and Hispanic brothers and sisters. You have to dig on that because really, actually, the same principles applies to any culture. Why is black culture killing black people? Yeah. So a lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. I can't imagine what part of their soul that they went to, those 5 officers, when they were merciless killing and beating that young black man. Did they not at one point in time ever see themselves? Do they remember when they were 15, 16, pulled over to the side of the road, somebody beat the hell out of them? Did they remember that? Did they forget that time when they thought that they were going to be almost castrated? Did they forget that? What happened? What happened to go la la la? What happened? Evil pierces the soul and the spirit. It pierces it and sears it like a hot iron. Tribalism in Africa to this day, that's right. As that man said across that dinner table, he says, we don't know what tribe you're from. And that Nigerian told me that, and it's a nice crisp suit as he earns his doctorate degree in medicine. He says the reason why we don't live amongst you, I thought about it. They don't live amongst us. I thought about it. They don't live amongst us. They don't go anywhere amongst us. Nigerians and people from Africa, when they are arising or trying to do something with their life, when they come to America, they don't live amongst African Americans. They don't assimilate. They don't associate. No. Tribalism. Black culture has within its tenets a form of tribalism. Who you know, who they is, what you be, well, who you be, yo, what? Yeah. Them over there. Representing. I believe if we ever broke that down, I got a master's degree in education and my bachelor's in sociology. I really don't have the time for that anymore. But if someone really wanted to take that up, I really believe you can see the tie. Clink, 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 boom. You can see the connection, the strong connection there. We've shut white people up. We've shut them up, shut their mouths like lions. They cannot speak on this issue. What, Sheila Jackson's? Is it Sheila Jackson? Yeah, I think it is her. Trying to pass a bill that white people can't say anything, in Texas here. White people can't say anything negative about a black person. Yeah, don't worry, Sheila. We do enough of it ourselves about one another. So I know that this whole thing is going to take on a new turn in with race, but they're trying to keep the narrative low. trying to keep the profile of it low, just like there is with the 6-year-old boy that shot this teacher. No one is not mentioned one time, seen any pictures, any parents, anything. Long ago, right away you get the picture, you know the person, you know the race, none of that. I got a feeling my husband and I taking bets that he's black. That's why they ain't saying anything about him. He's afraid to say anything. Can't say anything about a black person right now. Really. I can't, please. I'm sketchy and etchy, really. So, my show early today was about the killing of Tyree, the whole thing. And I talk about whatever I talk about on the radio show, I bring it down to NightCap at 9 to make it a little bit more where we can kind of, hear it, me not screaming and yelling like I do. I'm kind of a crazy person on the radio. I really am, and I kind of love it. I really do. I know God has set me up. This is what He has given me to be, but I do know that we are the people for the job. We really are. Oh, black people? No, all people. Americans. I'll tell you this little asinine joke, asinine statement or response I heard from a lady at a gas station. When I'm out at the stores and I see people looking at the meat, they're staring. And they're all just staring. Same little chicken or whatever, same hot dogs, hamburgers. I just see them there. Normally it's pick up one and go. No, Look at what I see. You see it too. They're just looking. You know what it is they're assimilating. They're assessing. They're trying to assent and accept the high prices, the gas, the everything. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to just, okay, I'm trying to adjust. And I being who I is, I love using this improper grammar. I being who I is, every now and then I say, oh my God, I must be the rich because they're taxing me. Where's my money? And I'll laugh, and sometimes people will respond, most of the time, because I'm black, everybody afraid to talk to you black people. So don't say nothing. Don't say nothing when no one's acknowledging you, giving you any kind of proper, because we've got it backed in the corner. We allow the crooked pimps, politicians, and preachers, which is my first book, pimps, politicians, and crooked preachers. We allow them to use us, tie our necks to a trough of programs, and then own us, and then use us for their aggrandizement. Anyway, so when I was when I say that, I was at the gas station, and when I'm there, normally I'll cry out something like, well, my body, my choice. What choice do I have now? We're all paying the same high price of the gas. And this one woman, she said to me, in a very nice SUV, well, I like to think, when I see prices like this, I like to think of the people in UK. And I'm thinking, okay. And what has that got to do? Well, they're paying $10 a gallon. Right away, no offense if you're a liberal and you're listening to me, she identified herself as a liberal. You see, they find every way and mechanism how to still stay where they are, but being able to put you in a category where you remain. Yeah? What does that have to do with America? I said, well, excuse me, but then people in Africa, let's think about them. They don't have cars. What should we do? Start walking? What? The asinine thinking. So tonight's topic has been about what? The Tyree, mercifulness killing, beating. That's what the topic has been about. Because, by the way, there was another topic I put out about a week or so ago. I said, can anybody show you how white people and black people, shut up, don't have anything to say. They backed us into a corner so we can't even talk ourselves. I put out this statement. I said, can anybody tell me why is it that powerful black women who push the race issues marry white men? And I named a couple or a few. Whoopi Goldberg, Kamala Harris, Ketanji, our Supreme. Why is it that? Why do they marry white men? If everything is so whiteness and whiteness is evil, and why would you marry a white man? Help me, somebody. Can I get a witness? Whoopi's had married 2 or 3 times, lived with a 4th time. So, let me recap. I've been talking about Tyree. I talked about his evil. I took the word evil, and I love acronyms. You take the word live, L-I-V-E. God created man in the image. Man was created in the image of God, and the image of God created he him. And that ultimate assault is against God. It always is. It always is. It always is. It always is. When I had the whole topic about marriage, yes, Cherie said just politics. Yep. But with it being just politics, the whole deal. The deal is that politics does not operate by itself. It's not like it's just a group of politicians and they in it all by themselves. No, they use people, human beings like you and I all the time, finding our victimhood areas and feelings. And, oh my God, it shouldn't do this to the little brown cats, because the little brown cat, okay, they find it and they pander us and they propagate on that, absolutely. And they pork barrel huge programs. And when they do, guess who's getting fat and rich? Not you and not me. $1 trillion. I don't want to go there. On the infrastructure. Please, if any one of you took the time, Wesley, if you could find that, I'll post it next time. What is in that infrastructure bill? It will blow your mind. Not to mention one of the bills that was being pushed earlier in this administration. By the way, guys, Republicans and Democrats, gays and strays are crooks on both sides, so don't go there with Miss Lorraine. Vote policies, not personalities. So, in one of the bills, I can't remember what it was. I'm going to look it up, make a note of it. Money was being sent to, what was it? India, concerning the study of gender and transgender. The place where they kill for being one. Crooked politician pimps and preachers. Okay, let me stay on task. Evil is the word live. God gave us life. When he gave his son, he gave us life. Exactly. He gave us life for a purpose. And see, the Father's not changing his purpose. I know we were like that. I know. God, I'll do this if you'll do that. Jesus, if you're around anybody that's making deals like that with God, run! Shit. God don't make deals, baby Chaz. No, baby child, he don't make deals. So, but ultimately, Satan, the enemy, is against the image that God made in this earth and will do everything he can to destroy it. Marriages, gender, the whole thing with gender dysphoria, religion. That was another one of my topics. MIA, church, missing in action. The pablum that we're getting from the pulpit produces weak bones. We can't stand worth crap. Hallelujah. Yeah, that's right. That's my first book. Is Pimps, Politicians, and Crooked Preachers. You heard me right. And so, we can't fight a little ant because we get all this milk stuff from the pulpit. Just pay your tithes, show up, be a good girl, sing in the choir, make a pie, go on the corner, pass some tracts out, send some money to Mexico, and you're done. And damn it, you're not done. Jesus said, go make what? good brisket and pecan pies? No. Go make disciples. I can't go there now. I'll be here all night. Can't do that. Let's move on. Tonight's subject has been about Tyree. Shame, shame, shame. I posted, thanks to my assistants, YouTube short. The L Sharptons of Black Lives Matter. Everybody that, take black people to the trough, tie their necks down to a program, get the money and run. We ain't heard none from them. Now they're slowly coming out. A little protests here and there. Tore up the whole city. Cities, major cities, all over, various cities. What? Not all of them, but most of them, yes. Portland would never be the same. George Floyd. Oh! Tribalism and black culture is killing black people. I am a grandmother of 16 grandchildren, 5 grown children, all in their 50s, maybe but one. So you can do your math on that. Married to the same man for 43 years. Run a nonprofit for 20 years, still going on strong. And all the other blah, 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 master's degree and bachelor's degree and radio host, on and on. Don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm saying I've been someplace, raised in the inner city of Detroit, welfare, 2 babies out of wedlock before I met my husband. So I'm saying something. I'm saying what I've seen. I'm not making it up. I don't need the accolades of mankind. I don't need it. I don't need it. Not because I'm so special. I just don't need it. I'm begging you as Americans. I'm pleading with you to wake up. To wake up and become Americans, not Americans. Take the damn hyphen away from the middle of African American. No, I've been to 17 countries, my husband and I. They don't give a crap-a-looey about that African American. You better have an American passport when you show up and when you leave. Ask Brittany, the girl, basketball. Ask her. I'm going to close now. Trying to think of my little notes here. We talked about the who, what, when, where, why. We talked about the whole thing of, Martin Luther King's pursuit and where we are. Not the whole thing, but how this was done in the city of the brotherly love, of Martin Luther King, where he started the civil rights movement. And here, black man and another black man totally can't even speak. So what are we to do? Just listen to the horn and go, oh my, isn't that bad? No. There's always something for us to do. For the Father who sits high, looks low, saw this day coming. And as I said before, he could have put you in 1786, living in Spain, any country, but he put you here. So you have to ask yourself, Father, what is it that you were expecting of me to do? Herein lies where the church, I can't go there tonight. I went there last week or earlier, whatever. Last week, yeah, I did. MIA, missing in action. Your Judea, your Samaria, your outermost part. What did you say, Miss Lorraine? Your Judea, your Samaria, and your outermost parts. Go ye. Right, to your Judea, your little city, neighborhood, Your Samaria, your state, your outermost part. Yes. Find out where God has placed you. What do? Oh, I just play a little chess. Okay, but then you go to the chess makers. You go to the chess players. Yeah, that's what you go. Yes, you do. I just bake pies. Okay, then you go to the pie makers. That's what you do. You do what I call ISD, not the schools, because I got on that already about genders in the schools and the whole thing, and their job is to take your kids and turn them into something that you can't handle. And to give them over to the government, so then again they have more programs. Yeah. ISD, I use this acronym of infiltrate, saturate, and dominate. That sounds kind of warfare-ish. It is. Infiltrate. That's what the left has done to your public schools. The lunacy left, who is the left? The lunacy left is those who have hijacked the Democratic Party. How do you know, Lorraine? Oh, because I lived as a Democrat almost all my life. I live as a Democrat and go, and well, I'm sorry, I vote as a Democrat and I go live as a Republican. Yeah, what is that? You have to get that on another episode. I talked about it before. The lunacy left. That's not the Democratic Party today is not a representation of your mama, my mama, your daddy. They're rolling in their grave. Rolling in their graves. And let me get you this one picture so I can close. I close with this picture. And I'll close with this other one too. See the picture of these people here. The man is my great-grandfather. And my great-grandmother, the woman. And the little baby girl is my grandmother. They were living on a plantation. I took this picture. At least they were sharecroppers, so to speak. Still probably indentured servants. You see the look on their faces, the determination, yea, even the dignity. If you think for one moment that they fought lynchings, survived for us to get a welfare check and to be victims, black people, you are sorely mistaken. And you have made atrocity out of that. No one takes your dignity. As you can see, you give it away. They went from this, died, struggled, lynchings, whatever you may want to call it. They did this for this. This is a picture of my grandson, West Point graduate. Absolutely graduated, now working for West Point, doing a damn good job. This to this. Not from this to a welfare check. It incenses me. It does. I'll close with the speech of Frederick Douglass, a fragment of it, because I don't know it all. And the speech says, "What shall we do with the Negro?" Read it. It's on the internet, guys. It's really interesting. Quite long. You know, because what would make a slave? What would make a slave? Frederick Douglass being a slave, get free, leave, go live in Europe and come back and then serve in one of our House of Representatives. Oh, okay. Might be because this is the country to live in. And in one of his speeches, he says, "What shall we do with the Negro? What shall we do with the Negro?" And somewhere along the line, after he gave lists and lists of things that have happened and so forth and so on, he said this. And I may not have it word for word, but you can look it up and find it. But it's basically saying this. He says, "If he plants corn and he fails, let him learn how to plant it better. If he grows wheat and it doesn't grow, let him find the ways to make the wheat grow. If he builds a house and it falls through, let him find the plans and how to design it better. But whatever you do," thank you, Wesley, he says, "leave him alone." What shall we do with the Negro? Leave him alone. The lunacy left that has hijacked the Democratic Party. For the Democratic Party, which was once a part of a lot of them, can I say from age old back, would have been more racist oriented, grew to be a party of helping the people. Yeah, they're helping the people, but they're helping themselves too. Let me get to the end of this. All right. I have here they are. My little prayer box. My glass box I told you all that I found. My mother, which passed some years ago, this little glass box, and I was going to make jewelry in it. And then someone else had given me a box of scriptures, and I thought maybe I would take those scriptures and stick them in this little glass box. So I close with picking one of these scriptures out. Don't know what I'm going to pick out. Let's see what the Lord has for us. I pick one out and then we go from there. And here's the scripture I have for it. Let's see, put it in. This one is stick together. Sometimes it, we got two. I think I'll read them both. The first one says, trust in him at all times, O people. Pour out your hearts to him. For God is our refuge. And that's Psalms 62:8. The other scripture that was stuck to it says, praise the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who crowns you with love and compassion, who satisfies your desires with good things, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. My. Psalms 103, 2, 4, and 5. That's some good stuff. It really is. Let us pray. Father, I thank you. God, you are so gracious. I am so undeserving of your mercy. I fall down 1,000,000 times, and you pick me up a gazillion times, and still call me your father and my friend. We are such a blessed people, and we don't know. We ask for your forgiveness, God, because we know right now this country is being spanked big time. We have said, God, get out of my life, get out of my room, get out of my womb, get out of everything. And you being the gentleman, as Anne Franklin said, you did. You obliged us and you got out. And here we are. And we're suffering sorely. We ask for your mercy, your grace. We ask for your peace. Protect us. Raise us up, God. We repent and we ask for your forgiveness. Father, we pray for Tyree's mother, God, in the name of Jesus. We pray right now, God, as she closes her eyes at night and remembers the pictures of her little baby in her arms and then sees the images of how he left this earth. God, in Jesus' name, that you would comfort her and keep her. We thank you. Amen and amen. All right, guys. God bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you. Listen, don't forget to scroll down. Scroll down, look at all the links. Wesley has sent, CC, you said a question mark. I hope we answered your question. You want to post it, what that question is, one more time. If you post it, I'll make sure if I did answer, just thumbs up that I answered. If not, I'm going to go in, message you, and find out what that was. Don't forget, all of the links are there. You can go back and hear the radio shows. But let me caution you, if you listen to the radio show, buckle up. It is a wild ride. Hi, DC. Everything's on there. This is all recorded. I am just going to finish, and you can go back and listen to this later. God bless you. Have a good night. At NightCap at 9. I never finish my wine.